Alex, I was out in the shop at 4 this morning, just listening to the compressor cycle on and off, and I realized something. A shop is like a living thing. If you don't feed it the right tech and the right projects, it starts to get a little cranky.
I think the only thing cranky in that shop at 4 a.m. was you, Tiger. But I get it. The world is moving fast. It's April 18th, 2026, and somehow the future everyone was talking about 5 years ago is currently sitting on our tool shelves.
It really is. Welcome to the TigerDen Daily, folks. We've got a packed shop floor today. We're talking about the 2026 essential trio of tools, why your next career move might involve a high voltage battery, and how to turn 20 bucks of walnut into a car payment.
Bold claims. Let's start with the gear. Wired just dropped their 2026 essential list, and it feels like the barrier to entry for DIY is getting lower, while the ceiling for what we can actually build is hitting the roof.
Man, they hit the nail on the head with the brushless smart drill. Back when I started, a drill was just a motor and a prayer. Now, these things have sensors that'll stop the bit the millisecond it detects a knot or a rogue screw. It saves your wrists, and more importantly, it saves your project from that soul-crushing pop of a snapped fastener.
You're leaving out the most important part of that trio, the compact oscillating multi-tool. I call that the oops tool, because every time I mess up a drywall cut or need to trim a baseboard that's already nailed down, that little vibrator saves my life.
It's the surgical scalpel of the construction world. If you don't have one, you're basically trying to do dentistry with a sledgehammer. And the high torque impact driver, that's the muscle. In 2026, these things are so light you can hang them on your pocket, but they've got enough guts to sink a 6-inch lag bolt without breaking a sweat. It's a beautiful time to be holding a battery-powered tool.
Speaking of batteries, let's talk about the guys who have to fix the things that carry them. The trades are shifting, Tiger. Auto service world is basically saying if you aren't learning electrical, you're becoming a museum exhibit.
It's a bitter pill for some of the old school grease monkeys, but the EV revolution is here. We're seeing this massive surge in employment, but it's a different kind of worker. You need the hands of a mechanic and the brain of a software engineer. If you can bridge the gap between this bolt is stuck and this inverter isn't communicating, you basically hold the keys to the kingdom.
Jason Hurl mentioned something interesting about labor pressures. Essentially, there aren't enough people who know how to do both. So if you're a technician and you actually bother to get certified in high voltage diagnostics, you aren't just an employee anymore. You're a unicorn.
And unicorns get paid in gold. I've spent my life covered in 10W30. But if I were 20 years younger, I'd be buried in a manual for lithium-ion cooling systems. It's the new frontier. It's the Wild West, but with better safety goggles.
Okay, let's pivot to something a little more maker-mogul. Not everyone wants to work on a Tesla. Some people just want to stay in their garage and make bank. You saw the report. The return to craft is officially a goldmine in 2026.
This makes my heart happy. People are tired of that flat-packed Swedish furniture that has the structural integrity of a wet cracker. They want organic. They want something with a soul. And apparently they want clocks.
Wooden wall clocks. Why the sudden obsession with timepieces?
Because it's the perfect margin play. Look, I love building a 10-foot dining table, but that's 3 weeks of my life and $500 in lumber just to clear a profit. But a clock? I can take a scrap piece of figured maple, something that was destined for the firewood pile, spend 3 hours on the lathe or the CNC, pop in a $20 movement, and sell it for 200 bucks as functional art.
It's the high margin strategy. You aren't selling the wood, you're selling the design. Same thing with custom serving boards. Everyone calls them charcuterie boards now, which is just a fancy French word for I'm charging you triple for this tray.
Don't tell them our secrets, Alex. But seriously, if you're trying to scale a business, stop looking at the big furniture. Focus on the stuff that fits in a shipping box, but looks like it belongs in a gallery. That's how you actually buy the new, fancy brushless tools we were talking about earlier.
We're moving into the outdoor living season. I've been looking at those prefab outdoor kitchen kits, the ones that arrive in a giant box, and you just click them together like Legos. They're tempting, Tiger. Convince me why I shouldn't just hit buy now.
Oh, Alex, prefab is the fast food of the construction world. It'll fill a hole, but you'll regret it in 3 years when the thin gauge steel starts to pit and the plastic handles sun bleach. If you want something that'll be there when the grandkids are grown, you've got to pour your own concrete.
Concrete? It sounds heavy, messy, and like a one-way ticket to a ruined patio if I mess up the pour.
It's definitely a measure of 15 times, pour once kind of job. But the wow factor of a custom poured polished concrete slab is unmatched. And here's the kicker. Start to finish build just showed that you can save about 40% by doing the masonry and the pour yourself. You're basically paying yourself $500 an hour to sweat a little.
Okay, but for a weekend warrior who's never even mixed a bag of Quick Ray, jumping straight into a 12-foot kitchen island seems like a recipe for a very expensive pile of rocks.
Fair point. My first concrete project looked like the surface of the moon, all craters and regret. Don't start big. Build a small outdoor prep station, maybe a 2 foot by 3 foot top for your grill. Learn how the slurry feels, learn when to hit it with the trowel, and how to vibrate the bubbles out of the form.
It's about building the muscle memory before the stakes get too high. I like that. It's the start to finish philosophy.
Exactly. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, more satisfying than sitting out on your patio, steak in hand, leaning against a countertop that you literally formed with your own two hands. It feels permanent. In a world of digital everything, there's something grounding about stone and steel.
We've covered a lot today, from AI productivity tools like Gumloop helping us run the business side, to the high-voltage future of the automotive trade, down to the grit of pouring concrete. What's the big takeaway for our TigerDen crew this week?
I think it's this. The tools are changing, but the spirit of the maker stays the same. Whether you're using a smart drill or an old-fashioned handsaw, the goal is to leave the world a little more solid than you found it. Don't be afraid of the tech. Embrace the AI that handles your scheduling so you have more time to spend at the lathe. Embrace the EV change so you're the most valuable person in the room.
And maybe make a clock or two along the way to fund the journey.
Especially the clock. If you're listening out there, go get some sawdust on your shoes this weekend, mess something up, learn why it happened, and then build it better the second time. That's the only way that knowledge actually sticks.
Thanks for joining us in the den. We'll see you next